image of your signature you could also send? Because I just mentioned that in this letter to her, but I should also say that to everybody else.
There's Finder, which is the same as find signature. Here, image. Crazy. Wow. I've never seen it. I've never seen it parsed out by date. That's not what I want. Broadcasting. I told these people I'd be back in a jiffy, and I'm not. Okay, have we been broadcasting that whole conversation? Oh, doggone it! That's a new low. All right, I am down. I was focused on you guys, I promise. And my wife called me for a crisis, as you heard, and I had to go take care of her. It's your fault, Dan. I'm going to have to spend time when I am paint. Hey, Gizmo. It is. Put the blame on me, buddy. All right. So the final edit. And I repeat this all the time. There. Where do you start the final edit? It's either on the focal point or the furthest away object, which would be this guy, or the lightest, brightest, whitest thing. I'm tempted to do. Oh, good. You couldn't hear me, Matt. Thank you. It wasn't a bad conversation. It was just one of those tense in the moment of pressure kind of things. Very intuitive, trying to decide where to start. I'm going to start with the lightest, brightest, whitest thing. A little bit unusual, but that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be the headlight, and then these. I'm just going to do all the lights. That's what I feel like I need to do first. Is lights, bright things, really bright things. So I'm going to start by mixing up a fairly intense light yellow. Come in here and do some. That's too pale. Needs to be darker than that. And same thing on these tail lights, actually. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Okay, and I believe I'm going to go straight to white without cleaning my brushes, so that the white I'm using will be slightly dirty with yellow paint. Really tap. Now, I need to decide here whether I want to use this technique. And I feel like I better stand up for this. It'd be hard to do sitting down. Okay, I'm going to show you a very specific trick. So that is plastered on there fairly heavy, fairly thick paint. Got it? And I'm going to go, sometimes I go the direction that the light's shining. I think that's what I want to do. Did you catch that? Now, do I want to do another one going the other way? I do. So much less to smear the second time, of course, right? So and then after you've smeared it, you come back and add another pile, maybe, or else you're just going to smear it again. I think that's enough smearing. Okay, and then here's a good quiz question for you. What is the lightest, brightest, whitest color that you can put on a painting? The answer is not titanium white. The answer is titanium white with a tiny bit of warming in it, with a tiny bit of yellow, and applied with a palette knife on a canvas. Why a palette knife? Because when you use a brush, of course, the brush has hairs, bristles. So it leaves a textured layer of paint, which diffuses the light. When you use a metal palette knife, it leaves a perfectly mirror smooth image, which is brighter than a rough one. Okay, there you go. Answer to that question. The answer is warm white applied with a palette knife. That is the lightest, brightest, whitest color you can put on a canvas. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start my final edit. I'm going to continue that theme. Sure, I'll go right over here to the tail lights. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit much more so you guys can see a little more accurately what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I can go straight to this color that's already on my brushes. Yeah, nice. Now, do I want to do the smeary thing again? Brushy thing, and I think I do. Let me clean up this brush real fast. Dry clean it with a dry. And yeah. Now you've heard me say, right? You cannot do this slowly. You cannot. If you try to do it slow, it will look like crap. I just can't emphasize that strongly enough. Now, can you see the streak that goes all the way up here? Now, I love it. It's a little bit much, so watch. Just with my finger, there. Now it goes up to about there. Tiny bit up here, but you can hardly see it. That's good. Now, what am I going to do next? You pick learning this, apply a new load of paint, fairly thick, and I want it to go not quite as far, but go the other way. Ooh, all right. That one was a lot bigger than I expected, but I'm going to leave it. If you start dithering with it, you'll be in trouble. I'm going to load it up again. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, that's nice. I haven't done the reflection yet. Now I'm debating whether I want to do, I do a little bit. Yeah. Wow. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, and then a little small dab with the palette knife. Isn't that sweet? Okay, now reflection down here. And you remember, of course, that this road is not, the road is not level. First of all, it's crowned. This is the yellow stripe that I have yet to paint going down the middle. You know what, wait a minute. Yep, I'm glad I said that because I think I'd better paint that yellow stripe first and then come back and do the glow on top of it. Whew, glad I thought of that. Okay, what color is the yellow stripe in a road? I don't know. It's pretty yellow, but that doesn't mean I have to do it yellow. It's pretty pale in the photograph, and I think that's a good impulse. And it's a double stripe, which I do think I want to indicate. You might ask, why haven't I done this yellow stripe before now? My feeling was that it was just too fine, it was too skinny an object to try to reflect, emulate, imitate, abstract in the very loose underpainting stage. Just felt like it was too fine of a shape. I have a mark, a stripe of sorts going down across the road, but it's not, doesn't have any yellow in it. Mess it up a little bit, mess it up a little bit. You know what? I think it's straight enough. I'm gonna bend it down a little bit down here. All right, yellow stripes done. I'm going to save those brushes just in case I need to do some yellow later. Back to highlights here. So getting the picture now, put it down and smear it. Put it down, smear it, then come back and add the highlight one more time, if necessary. All right, I think that's all right. Nah, a little too punchy right there. I'm smearing it with my finger now. All right, continuing then, let's move down a little bit, move the painting down, move up to these lights up here. Yeah, and I think I'm going to do a little bit more yellow around on top of them as well. Am I still in? Yep. Now, I have any cadmium or cobalts. I don't use cads or cobalts or any toxic, even suspiciously toxic paints I don't use on my palette. So that's because I know I can't keep my fingers out of my paint. So I make provision for that. I think that's enough. Yeah, I think that's enough. Now, there's a light under the portico up here. I want to warm that up a bit. It's too cool. Almost done with the lights. Then finally, way up here at the top, this street light. Whoa. Now, I will do lights straight titanium. I've had some people complain about that and others not. The reason is because what are they now? Sometimes they're LED lights now. They're very, very cold white. But I don't think on this painting I want to go with the latest, greatest street lights. I want to go with kind of old-fashioned impulse. So it's a warm light I'm using. Okay, I think that's good enough. I guess I'll do a little bit of palette knife on this one. there's all the bright spots. A little bit of an unusual way for me to start the last layer, but it's in the realm of, it's one of the options. I'm going to do the sky next. There's not much sky in this painting, but certainly some, and it needs to be lighter than it is right now. And I need just a tiny bit of definition, not much, not much. For instance, whoops. There we go. Lost you for a minute there. Sorry, guys. Good now? So I've done headlights, taillights. Hello, Gizmo Goose. Yes, I'm sorry. I hope you catch this comment later. Yes, I show without frames all the time. I mean, in my career, I've had to provide 7 frames. Okay, so I'm now doing some, not too much. I don't have to define everything. I don't have to explain. Hey, Matt's Art Stuff, I would love to get back to Times Square. Man, 8 years ago now, I painted for 5 days in New York City. Really had the time of my life. Just loved it. Would love to come back. All right, we seem to be having connectivity issues here. It doesn't last too long, but doesn't continue. Are we there? Nope, we are not. Barely hanging on, aren't we? Okay, sorry folks. For some reason, after a happy and successful day of streaming, afternoon of streaming, I'm now running into all kinds of streaming issues. Sorry about that. Just a tiny bit of definition up here in the sky. And then up here at the top of this building. That's a little too bright. When you're in the final edit layer, one of the ways you know if you're mixing up the right colors is, generally speaking, the colors you mix up should coordinate with what's already there. You don't, generally speaking, you don't take a hard left or hard right. If the underpainting was done properly, everything you do in the overlayer, overpainting, is synchronous, similar, gentle with the underpainting. Okay, that's probably enough of that sky. A little bit of white there that I don't like. A little bit of light showing through. Let's make that blue. All right? Yeah, good. Now I've got blue on my brushes. This might be a good time to do some of the blue on these, anywhere else, on this car in particular. Because of course a lot of this is reflecting, just reflecting the sky. In abstract realist painting, in a way, you don't get points for rendering something accurately, carefully. You get points for rendering something accidentally. Hard to explain that. Another way, let me try to give some other language to that. In real painting or in abstract realism, you don't get points for the realistic drawing. You get points for the things that are in the painting that are not literal. I know this sounds very strange. The red outline on this car, that is not realistic. This is not realistic. Red dots there, not realistic. Again, the abstract paintings that were thrown down on the canvas at the very beginning of this process, that's what you get points for. That's strange. I know, hard to wrap your mind around that. Very hard. It took me years to. Once I figured it out, then I was all in. But until then, I was like very iffy about this abstract painting stuff. My professors in college call it painterly. Painterly look. That's okay. I don't think that's the best description of it. So I'm trying to come up with different ways to describe this, the magic of real painting. I think I'm done, very close to done with that car, if not all finished. I'll probably come and add some broken color to it in the final. No, here's something that's bothering me right here, so let me fix it real quick. The this dark mark behind this front tire shouldn't be there. So I'm trying to actually match, the color that's already there. Mix up and match what's there. Yeah. Now that I've got this lovely color match on my brush, I can apply it a few other places just for fun. All right, now I think I'm done with that car. And now that I've done that car, it puts me in a mood to finish the red one, the red car. So let's go ahead and tackle that. Switch our palette over to red paint. In fact, I'm going to take it again, unless my wife calls me, which she has the freedom to do. I'll be back in 2 minutes after I clean up my brushes and clean up my palette. 2 minutes, unless my wife calls. Are you there? All right, I thought I was done with the blue car. Got all ready to switch over to red. Said, oh, wait a minute. Can you see, looking at this, that it's all too much the same color blue? Because I haven't come back and to do my favorite trick that I talk about all the time, which is after you put down one color, any color, in in the opaque stage of painting, which for some of you is the entire phase of painting is opaque. But for me, it's only the last stage is opaque. Anyway, after you put down a color, you mix up a slightly lighter version of that color and come and put that on top of it. On top of, not the whole thing, of course. And here's a good place for a smear. That was too gentle. There we go. Oh, looking better already. So I've just mixed up a slightly lighter version of that light blue. Now you could ask yourself, you could ask me, well, if now that I put down this color blue, can I do it again? Can I mix up an even lighter? And the answer is, of course, yes, yes, yes. You can sometimes do it several times. Usually, though, you top out at a lightness level. You can't get any lighter than that and still be blue. You just a bit sparkle of pure white on top of that, of course. Normally, that's not what you do, though. Normally. Also, okay, there, much better. Wait, just I keep thinking I'm done. Keep thinking I'm done, then just a little bit more. That is a significant improvement, though, to what I had just a few minutes ago. Now it looks like a car that is catching the reflection light of the sky. While I'm on this car, while I'm back on this car, let's go ahead and get the wheel hubcap, whatever they are. They're not hubcaps, are they anymore? Showing my age again. Back when I was a kid, cars had hubcaps. So I've put down a pale neutral gray on those wheels, wiping off my brushes, mixing more white, in other words, the same process, mixing a slightly lighter version of that color, and come back and hit just a little bit on top of what I just put down. And of course, again, I'm looking at the photograph. The light parts of this wheel, the parts that are catching the light from the sky are on the lower part of the wheel, not at the top. Because they're generally speaking a convex shape. Does that make sense? Hope it is, because that's as far as I'm going to go with that explanation. Then a little bit reflection on the top of the tire. Wet tires, of course. All right, now I think I'm done with that car. I can save those brushes, though, pale blue, because I'll be needing that later. Let's go to some other brushes. And by the way, why do artists use so many brushes? Here, let me turn you here for a second and show you my brushes. Okay. Nobody in their right mind needs that many brushes, and I have just as many out in the trailer, have just as many out in my van, have almost that many upstairs. I'm not telling you to go out and buy a bunch of brushes like a crazy person, but why do we use them? Every once in a while, I've seen an amateur artist say something like brag, boast. That's okay to boast. They say, and I did the whole thing with one brush. No, don't say that. That's not that's not hard to do. In fact, many of us, if you just put your head down and charge forward, You keep using the same brush over and over and over and over and over. Part of the reason I use several brushes is so that I can have different colors. Those are my blue brushes. These are going to be my red brushes, and so on. So that's one reason why we use so many brushes. More importantly, I think, than that is because different brushes make different kinds of marks, varieties of marks. And since the essence of good painting is making interesting marks, if you can add variety to your brush strokes by using different brushes, that's a good deal. Does it make sense? So I'm trying to mix up just the right colored red here, and I'm not sure that I've got it. I really should have painted the car red before I did those brilliant headlights, shouldn't I? But I'll be very careful and just paint around it. Whoops, and I just discovered, so here's a little retrofit mistake, if you will. I missed a dark spot. It's pretty small. This is not a light, this is a hole. So there, I want to get that right. I don't want to look looking like a parking light. So out of order, but it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? I don't care. Now, I don't know if you can see this yellow. This is part of my original abstract swoosh that I put on the canvas. In my opinion, it would be a huge mistake to sort of get mad at that yellow swoosh and say, there's no yellow mark on this car. I think that would be a mistake because it's interesting. And you can see it here, 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 here. Then it kind of fades out. There's some yellow down there. Anyway, you don't get credit for, so to speak, I know this is hard to understand, maybe. You don't get credit for rendering something accurately. What you get credit for is the extra things in your painting that are not in the photograph, that are not real. I know, that's so strange. So strange. So I'm going to leave that yellow there. I like it. In fact, if my guess is right, when I come to the final, the post-edit color, I'm likely to actually add some yellow to that little bit there, because I want to actually accentuate it a little bit. And what we're not talking realism here. We're talking good paintings. All right, I think that might be all the red. Do you see that the blue streak right there? I'm not going to eliminate that. But I was right, I do have a place for pale blue. This is a little bit of chrome here on this car. I have no idea what kind of car this is. I'm even looking at the logo on the grill right there, and I still don't know what kind of car it is. My son would be embarrassed of me. Dad. I have one son that loves cars, so he knows all. And by the way, I'm not going to try to copy the logo accurately. That's the one exception I'm going to do. I want my cars to be pretty accurate, but I don't care that the logos are accurate. Okay, back to red now, because what trick have I not done yet? Right, come back and do slightly lighter on top of what I just did. So I'm mixing up a lighter, paler red right now, and warmer. Add quite a bit of orange to that so it doesn't look pink. And come in here and do several highlights. Then it will look like a painting. And ironically, also looks more like a car. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice. Light up here. Yeah, some light out here on the reflection on the fender. Yeah, same thing right here. So much nicer. There we go. Now, this is one time where I am going to come back and do an even lighter color than that. So I don't have to clean these brushes, but I have to wipe them off vigorously. Grab some titanium white and some, whoa, that's too much. I grabbed some lemon yellow, bright yellow, I don't know, Hansa yellow. Got way too much, my precious. So I wanted to warm up that red. Instead, I turned it into yellow. Okay, so this is a third adding lighter color for the second time. Covering fewer acres, as I like to say, covering not as much area as last time. And this is not so much about similitude, about realism, although ironically what I'm doing right now on a shiny car actually is increasing similitude or realism. I think there's a place here for a palette knife. You want a really fine mark. Yeah, good. And believe it or not, I think I want to eat that one more time. So remember a few minutes ago I asked this principle about you come back and do a slightly lighter. Can you do it more than once? And I said, yes, you can go all the way up to pure white if you want. So, well, that's actually what I'm going to do right now. Almost pure white, the faintest hint of warm and pink in it, but essentially a white. And just a few touches, mostly on top of what's already there, but not necessarily. It can be out on its own. A little bit of reflection. Yeah, the top of this mirror. Isn't that sweet? It is in the rain. Most of that, how do I know what to do? Most of it is simply looking at the photograph and noticing what's there. All right. Now, I noticed a while ago that I'm not entirely happy with the brake lights over here on this other car. So let me come back here. And I think sort of after the fact, sort of cheating here, I'm going to add more red to the glow, the aura around this. So I'm going in reverse. I'm cheating here because you're supposed to do this before you do the hot spot in the middle. So I'm breaking protocols. Does that make sense? But yeah, that looks better already. Same thing down here. A bit more red. Yep. All right, I think my 2 cars are done. I'm happy with that. That's, again, I'm calling this series of paintings. We'll see if it catches on. I'm calling this series of paintings traffic paintings. Not a spectacular scene at all. Nothing fancy about this. You could see this scene 10,000 places across America. But it actually is beautiful. Just normally we don't have the eyes to see how beautiful it is. Okay, and as you can see, this final edit layer is by far the slowest. And I'm going to bore you guys to pieces if I just keep broadcasting. So I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to keep painting, but I'm going to stop broadcasting and bring you in later when I'm close to the end, or maybe when I'm ready to go on to the final layer, which is the new final layer, which is broken color. Okay? I just saw something else I want to fix here. Was here, right here. If I find myself doing something particularly interesting, I will bring you back in, okay? But otherwise, I'm afraid I'm just going to be a little too boring. The details a little too small. So that's where the painting's at right now. The 2 cars are basically done, everything except broken color, which I can do in the post-edit broken color stage. Okay, so I've got a bunch, little bits to do in the road, this building, all the buildings. All right, break time. I'll be back in a while. Hey, David, I missed your comment earlier. Glad to see it now. What do I think? That's a very good question. I am looking at this painting going, it's okay, it's a decent painting. No, I don't feel like I have achieved still that elusive, at least it's eluding me, the retaining a higher degree of energy. I retained a little bit more in this one than I did in the last one. You can still see marks everywhere that are the underpainting, but not as much as I would like. But okay, so I'm basically done with the edit layer, although in the last just 30 seconds, I've been doing something new. I don't know if this is permanent or not. I've had my finger in a rag. I'm just looking for any part of the painting that doesn't need to be as neat as it is. I did a bunch right here in this window grid. That was real neat. And then I messed it up. And guess what? The painting got better. In fact, I'm going to do it again. This is something new. This might be a good thing. Sort of like the last hurrah for messiness. The last getting rid of hard edges. That's good. That was a good mark right there. I thought I was being gentle. I thought I was being abstract, but anyway, okay, it's better. Yahoo. Okay, one last. I'm calling this now the post-edit color breaking color. Now, I already have a whole bunch of, and most of the time in the this color break. Okay, I described this at length yesterday, so I don't want to repeat it too much, but I know I've got different people watching, so it's same value, same lightness, darkness, but a different color. Okay, so now I have a dull brown, close to a yellow ochre, a little bit more orange than a yellow ochre. And I'm looking for places that is this value, but it's not this color, where I can just sneak in some extra color. That was good. Up here in the green. Now, see if you accidentally put a mark down and it's not the same, it's lighter, then that's not a color break, that's a values break. And values breaks are okay, but my paintings tend to be already have a lot of value breaks in them. Now, one thing I want to do though, I don't want to be adding here at the last minute, I don't want to be adding a lot of hard edges. So I want to be careful that most of this stuff, there's a little bit of brown on that blue car. That was nice. That's nice. I can do a little bit more of that. Down here. Yeah, that was nice. Except now I can mess it up. Looks good. Okay, I don't have to do too much of this orange color because that's just one color. I typically go around the color wheel and do primary and secondary colors. So if that was a dull orange, let's go now to a dark red. So Naphthol Crimson, my favorite dark red color, if you will. You add some violet to that. I want to get a burgundy. I want to get a dark red. So I'm picking up some dirty yellow that's already on my palette. A little violet. Okay, so I want that darker. Okay, kind of burgundy. Now, remember, I'm looking for areas in the painting where you would normally not find burgundy, but that are fairly dark. Okay, oh, this telephone pole, that'd be a good place. I just lightened it very slightly. So whoever heard of a burgundy telephone pole, right? But that looks nice. What I'm doing here is not realism. Oh, and in foliage, in greenery, there's often a lot of room for dark red. Okay, so why am I doing this? Why am I doing, this is probably other than the messing stuff up with a rag, today's the first day I've ever done that, like that. Why am I adding rather random color? The answer is because it looks cool, because it makes the painting more interesting. I started this just a couple months ago, and so far it's still proving to be fruitful. I look at my painting after I've done this, and okay, that might be enough. No, I can sneak a little bit down here. The key is finding bits of things that are the right value. Whoops, that was too dark, but that's all right, it looks good anyway. Okay, now let's just go around the color wheel a little bit. Let's go to a purple or a violet color. When I'm doing color breaks, this is my favorite, is to do some purple, and I can do light or dark. Let's start with a rather dark purple, and opaque, by the way. Most of what I'm doing here, these are not transparent colors. They're opaque. Okay, so I've got dark purple. Ooh, right here in this window. Yeah. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. Here, some of the branches and twigs on this tree right here. Add some purple to that. That'll be nicer. Here's some dark green in here that could be. So these are just little surprising pops of color. And that's so new to me. I still find it very intriguing. It's like, why does this look cool? I almost can't answer that question. I can just say, I don't know, but it does. Color. And given the choice, our eyes, generally speaking, like seeing color. Okay, that's enough of that dark. Now let's go mix a bunch more titanium white with that and get a pale lavender, pale purple. So now I'm looking for more of a medium. It's not real light, but make sure I'm not just losing my marbles here, doing crazy stuff. It is crazy. But no, so far I think it looks good. Yes, just about finished. Okay. Boy, that really stands. Better not overdo it. Let's get rid of that purple. And if I continue around the color wheel, I did red, then purple. I'd be going to blue next. Yeah, that would be a good. And I'm running out of room on my palette to mix paint, so swipe a bunch of that off. Okay, let's blue. Those dirty brushes, so it's kind of a mid-tone, medium light, medium dark, phthalo blue. So now I'm looking for things that are not blue. Does that make sense? This brown. This would be a good place, but I don't want hard edges, so let's just make a smudge. A little bit nervous for some reason about this, but this blue. I have to watch out for dotification. I have to watch not to put little dots down. Okay, that's enough of that blue. Now let's go on to a ultramarine cool blue. So I will finish an entire painting, 24 by 30 in one day, which is, not a bad day's work. Reserve the right, of course, to do day 2, which is glazes. Okay, so now I have ultramarine. Looking for value, looking for places that are already this value, but not this color. Oh, I never came back to this figure person here. This great place to have just a hint of a person. You can hardly tell if it's supposed to be a person or not, and I like that. If I give him some flesh tone and maybe an arm. He should have an umbrella though on a rainy day, but too late, not gonna do that. Okay, back to blue now. Up here in the foliage, good place for blue. Okay, I don't want to overdo this. I hope I'm not overdoing it. I don't think I am. If I go all the way around to green, then I will basically have finished going around the color wheel. So let's do some green color breaks. Ooh, bright green. Sort of an accent. Let's see if I can fit some bright green in there somewhere. Oh my goodness. Talk about a dangerous color. I don't know. Nah. I don't like. That's the first one I put down. I really don't like. I'm gonna just smudge it out, thin it out a little bit. It'll be okay. Oh, in this windshield. Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's nice. How about in this blue car? Can I fit any green in the mid-tone areas? Yeah. Crazy, crazy. Art is crazy. Visual art is crazy. I'm happy to say I've gotten a lot crazier. The older I get, the crazier I get, the more energy. And I like that green. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Of course, if I put green up here in the foliage, that's not a color break. That's a values break. That's a punch of something lighter. Can I do anything down here on this road? Yeah, I can. Good. All right. I think I'd be smart just to call that a day, sign it, and look at it with fresh eyes tomorrow and make whatever changes I want. But again, fairly happy with it. So that's traffic painting number 2. We'll see. All these paintings are available, by the way. If anybody wants to buy one, make an offer. Thanks for joining me today. Hope that was fun. Hope that was instructive. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and tell your friends. Yeah, I really like the purple I did in there. Good. Hallelujah. I'm still growing as an artist, still making progress. That's encouraging. Yep. All right. I'm going to sign off. Sayonara. Thank you for watching.